Hello and welcome. Today we'll be taking a look at a new robot vacuum from iRobot, the Roomba i7. This one features a self-emptying base station that allows the robot vacuum to empty itself automatically, allowing for multiple cleaning sessions prior to actually having to empty the larger base station. As you can see from the initial look at the box, it's pretty big. That's mostly due to the size of the base station in there. In today's video, we'll be going through an unboxing of the entire robot as well as the initial setup of the robot. Before we get started, I'd just like to point out the different sides of the box. You have the actual robot here being emptied out into the vacuum, as well as an underview of the robot on the box. Okay, so because of the size, we had to move things to the floor just so we could actually get a good view of everything going on. I already went ahead and opened the pull tab, so let's go check things out. Okay, got a little flap there. So right off the bat, we can see we have a box for most likely the robot itself, power and accessories, and then we see at the top over there the base station. We'll take everything out and go through it from there. With everything unboxed, I'd like to take a look at the big difference between this model and the previous 980 Roomba model, and that is the self-emptying base station. This is being reported to be able to hold up to 30 cleaning bins worth from the robot. I will be testing this out later on in a different video to see how much it actually will hold, but it is pretty exciting to be able to hopefully, potentially, not have to empty out the robot too often and allow a lot of cleaning cycles. Taking a closer look, we can see some heavy-duty contacts for charging the robot itself on the base, so that's pretty exciting. Hopefully that means some quicker charging time. As well as the top where the storage of the dust is saved. It actually has a rubber seal on it to make it airtight, which is nice. And then we also have the cleaning bags that will hold the dust inside there, which again is being reported to be able to hold roughly 30 cleaning bins from the robot. Okay, so next I'd like to take a look at the power and accessory box, see what's included in here. Looks like we have a secondary dust bag in here, which is nice. A filter, it's possibly a spare, I'm not sure if one's already inside the robot, hopefully there is. Brushes as well. A nice heavy-duty power cord, which again hopefully reinforces that the robot will now charge faster than previous models. And a virtual wall. This one, just like the other models, has the ability to do a straight line, which is up to 10 feet or 3 meters across, or more of a half circle that is 4 feet in diameter or 1.2 meters across, which is ideal for, as the picture shows, pet bowls or maybe something else like shoes or something that you want to keep the robot away from. And then lastly, batteries for the virtual wall. Okay, so now let's open up the robot itself. So taking a look, this looks pretty similar to the Roomba 980. Does have a different kind of finish to it, but we can see the home and the location button, as well as the clean button, and a port for a camera, as well as the sensor for the virtual walls and the home base finder. Then underneath that, looks like we have a quick start guide, the owner manual for the robot, owner manual for the cleaning base, and a warranty card. Okay, so I did want to do a quick comparison side by side of the new i7 versus the 980. As you can see, the window for the camera on the i7 is a bit more recessed and a lot smaller compared to the 980. So hopefully that doesn't impact any of the eye adapt functionality, as well as just being able to see better. Again, the coloring is a bit different. We do have the bumpers still on both, like on the older model, on the front. And then you have the clean button on both as well. Flipping them over, as you can see, my 980 is a bit used. I've had it for over a year now. But flipping it over, they look very similar. One thing that kind of stands out right away is it does seem like the rollers are a little bigger on the i7 versus the 980, which is kind of nice to see. In addition, we have the automatic dirt disposal, which is definitely different on the 980 as it's not there. Both have the wheels that allow it to go up and down different lengths of carpet as well as different transitions. We have very similar looking brushes, and the contact pads on the bottom of the i7 look exactly the same as the 980, so I'm thinking that recharge times may be the same. Taking a look at this. Another thing that's a little different here is the way the bin comes off. In the i7, you actually have to push this in over here and then pull it out this way. And then there's our filter. Whereas in the 980, you push this button here and pull it out, and then your filter is on the top here. It's kind of dusty because, again, I've used it. Something to note, the bins are definitely different sizes. The i7 is a little bit smaller than the 980. Capacity-wise, I'm not sure. They look about the same depth. So we'll have to see if they actually have different capacities or if this one's smaller or not. So that is something to keep in mind. If you're thinking that you want to move from a 980 to an i7, and oh yeah, it's gonna last 30 times, it may be a little less than that just because the dustbin could be smaller. So that is something to consider. Similar to the 980, the rollers do come out single-sided. They're different colors and they have different shapes to clean them out. They do feel a little thicker plastic, which is nice. And then you just roll them in. It's easy unless you're doing a demo of it. There we go. And you slide. And then you put this latch down like that. So that is a side-by-side comparison of the i7 and the 980. Okay, so now we are ready to start setting up our new i7. Before we get started, I just wanted to point out two things that I noticed while getting ready to set up everything. The first is that the power cable actually includes a Velcro cable tie, which is really nice. I personally prefer to make my cables as clean as possible, so this allows me to clean up any slack near the outlet that I may possibly want with the included Velcro strip. Another big thing that I've noticed on the back that I also appreciate of the base tower is this entire little piece right here. And what that does is allows you to wrap around the power cord so that way you can get into the back of this and then have it run out of either side very nice and clean. So that is another nice feature, and I really do appreciate iRobot taking the time to consider cable management. It's a big thing, and I appreciate it. Okay, so as can be seen, once you plug in the base station, it does give a little LED notification letting you know that it is in fact plugged in. And then let's go ahead and put our Roomba on the base station. Okay, once you put it on the base station, it'll start charging. You can see that the clean button illuminates with a white flashing ring around it to let you know that it is charging and getting ready to start its initial process. Okay, so once your robot's fully charged, you can go ahead and open up the Roomba app. If you already have a Roomba in there like I do, you can go ahead and click the menu button up here, go to Add a Robot, select Roomba. It's going to go through the setup checklist for you to make sure you're all ready to go. You can click on Get Started, Continue. You can name your Roomba what you want. For this, I'm going to call it DJ Roomba 2 in honor of DJ Roomba 1. Okay, set up your network. 1 second. Okay, and then once you're ready, click Yes, Continue. It's going to ask for the Wi-Fi password. Just type that in, click Continue. And then you're going to get a little instruction video on pushing 2 buttons depending on which model. So for us, the i7 series, so we're going to need to push the spot clean button and the home button at the same time for 2 seconds. Once you do that, you'll hear a tone and it'll flash blue. And then you can make sure that in the app you have marked yes, I pressed the buttons, click continue. It's going to search. It's going to find, you select the one that you want to set up. And then it's going to check for updates. Now, if this is your first time using the robot, then you're going to want to make sure you allow the update to finish fully. There was a couple bugs in the initial release of the software. It seems to take about an hour for the entire firmware to download and install properly, so I do highly recommend just setting up your Roomba for the first time in the app and on the internet, and then letting it charge fully for the recommended 3 hours before initial use, and by that time it should have everything done. Also too, it does look like within the app, I was able to get notification saying that there is a update, and it asked me if I want to start that update now. So I'm going to do that, and I highly recommend you do that as well, just to make sure, what a cute little animation, to make sure that the robot is fully updated. It's kind of funny actually. And that any bugs and issues or new features are ready to go and dealt with for your new robot vacuum. In the next section of the video, I will be doing a sped up version of the first cleaning of the Roomba i7 in my living room. It's actually kind of cool to watch. I find myself oftentimes mesmerized just watching the little robot clean, so it's included there. Just like to add, if you liked what you saw today, please like and comment, as well as feel free to subscribe to the channel. I hope to bring out a lot more content, so the likes and the subscriptions definitely help give me encouragement to continue making this content. As a heads up, I will be having the volume at the same level for the Roomba to run, so you may want to turn your volume down just a little. This model is not as loud as the 980, which is really nice to hear. The base station at the end of the video, though, is a lot louder than even my Dyson vacuum that I have. So you may want to turn your volume down. The initial start will be your normal speed, but then I'll speed it up, and then I'll slow it again down at the end so that you can see the Roomba going back on its home base, as well as hear just how loud the base station is when it empties out the vacuum. So again, I highly recommend you lower your volume. Thank you very much.